rolling out into the testing zone tonight. Ross R has a question. Okay, so from accessible price points to a little bit more rarefied air. Hi Tim, I've budgeted $25,000 for a high-end watch that will be my first step beyond sub $12,000 Rolex and Omega. Must be a chronograph, should be a sports watch. Best at 42 millimeters or larger. Right now I'm looking at the Vacheron Constantin Overseas Chronograph. 29,300, which I think I can get for a discount. That's Ross saying he can make this fit for 25,000. Or the Rolex Yacht-Master II in steel, which retails for 18,750, so it's well within his price range. What other options should I be considering? Well, the nice thing is with the price point you've given yourself, you've got a lot of options. Let's just start with what is new and cool, and then maybe we can move over to pre-owned. But you're solidly within the price point that you would see with a Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore. 26470 ST in steel is going to come in right around $26,000. I do think a dealer would work with you to make that happen for 25 if that was the make or break. So you should be considering that at 42 millimeters. Also, and Jason I think can attest to this, but the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Chronograph 41 millimeter at steel wears a lot bigger than 41.
Yeah, it does. As nice as the Royal Oak Offshore is, and how it's a bit thicker, the 41 just it sits like a 42, and it sits really well on the wrist. It's just the right thickness. I actually think this is, the secondary market shows that this watch is very highly in demand. So I think in his budget he'd be perfectly fine trying to find one of these. But most guys that are trying to find these for retail is not happening.
Yeah, retail on this is $24,300. The way to do that is to get on an authorized dealer's wait list and then wait. So I would also say this, in terms of fit, I think the 41 Royal Oak on the bracelet wears the same size as the 42 Offshore on a strap. I actually think those are almost the same watch, eyes closed on the wrist. The 41 wears big, but it is more elegant. It is thinner in profile. Okay, now you've also got an option. Let's talk about something that's very new and cool. The Panerai Lumen 1950 Chrono Monopole 8 days GMT automatic PAM 737.
Say it again.
I can't, I'm exhausted, but it's got a green dial and it's a beautiful looking watch with a matte titanium case, and the price is right. This is going to come in at approximately 21,000 US, giving you some headroom left over to accessorize with straps, which we know is the thing with Panerai.
Yeah, for sure. I have to say that green dial is fantastic. I wish I could get a few more Panerais. I called it when they did that e-boutique sub with the blue.
Oh, the 731?
Yeah, I want a matte titanium green dial sub case, 44 millimeter.
And I'll say this, with the rose gold accents, the rose gold hands and the green dial, this may be the 2017 Panerai that's crying out for accessory straps. You could do some very cool thing with an olive drab contrasting gold stitched leather strap on this thing. Please make that happen, Ross. But if you don't want to go in that direction, we can go off the beaten path. Ulysse Nardin Marine Regatta. Okay. Here's one of the more interesting watches to come out of SIHH 2017. You can program it like you can the Rolex Yacht-Master II that you enjoy, but here's the thing. After you've programmed between 0 and 10 minutes for the countdown, once the countdown's done, the chronograph reverses itself and starts counting up. So you've got the countdown to your match and then the count up for your elapsed time. Nothing else like this going on. One of the few original ideas in the oversubscribed regatta timer category. It's a UN caliber 155, manufacturer movement 650 parts. About as complicated as it gets. And if I had my say, this would be called a grand complication. More on that later in the show. But this is a watch that retails for a very accessible $16,700. For what it is, you're getting a lot. 43 millimeters, 44 actually, in stainless steel. This is a watch that wears big, so it's a watch after our man Ross's heart. And finally, I would say this. Blancpain 50 Fathoms bathyscaphe chronograph, Blancpain Ocean Commitment 2. This is a watch that came out late last year for the 2017 model year. 52-hour, 36,000 vibration per hour high beat flyback manufacturer chronograph caliber, the F385, as tough as the 1315, as fine as the old 1185. Debuted in this model, blue ceramic case, 43 millimeters, limited edition of 250 pieces, and still available new. This is probably, of all of these, the one that I would pick for myself. This is a cool watch. And Jason, I don't know if we've seen one of these, but it ticks all the boxes for me.
Yeah, I mean, besides maybe that 737 of the examples you've given, I mean, this thing pulls at the heartstrings. That is just beautiful. If you look at the combination between the blue ceramic case, the blue bezel, the black dial, with it's just, that's a piece absolutely would make its way in my own collection. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, and you've got the water resistance of a dive watch. You've got the bezel if you prefer to just set the bezel and time using the minute hand. A lot of times, if I don't have to time something long, I prefer that to a regular chronograph. This is a watch that, again, is still available. The price well underneath your price cap. And yes, the original 50 Fathoms Flyback chronograph, if you want to go with the older 1185 caliber and the 50 Fathoms 5085 case, if that's what appeals to you, that too can be had. That's $18,400. So you've got a lot of options, Ross. Please write in and tell us what you choose.